everyone, Asian action actor here, and I am back with another movie review. And today I am reviewing Trolls World Tour.
Oh look, I think I can see our house from up here.
Yes, I do watch these sorts of movies primarily because I have a family, I have a fiance, and we have a daughter, and a lot of the times we bond with these kinds of movies. And I gotta say, with that said, this movie really wasn't for me. And I don't fault it for that. It was clearly marketed to not be for someone like me. It was clearly marketed for a very specific target audience, primarily kids. But still, you know, with some quality output from certain studios, primarily Pixar and Disney and things like that, with movies clearly marketed towards kids, but can be very much enjoyed by adults, I gotta say, this movie falls way, 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 way short of that. It's really just for kids. If you're a parent and you're with your kids, it'll depend on how much your tolerance is for these types of movies. For me, it was, well, it's all right. It's passable. I didn't feel like I wasted my time looking at it. And again, I'm reviewing it. Otherwise, if I really just, didn't really care for it at all, I wouldn't review it at all. But I cared enough for it that I thought it was entertaining while it lasted, and it deserved its own review. So let's go with my very general thoughts, as usual, before I go into spoiler territory. All right, let's get this out of the way first. For me, this movie is really just a product placement sort of thing and not really something that they put together to tell a well-meaning story with characters that evolve and develop and things like that. Nah, man, that wasn't on the director's or producer's mind at all. This is a movie designed to sell Trolls products. That's it. The story is a thinly made concoction to create new Trolls characters, to sell products, and to include a bunch of various popular songs of various genres into a single movie. Because the story essentially is you discover other trolls that like different sorts of music, and of course they're gonna have their own favorite songs and things like that. So we get licensed songs from all over the place, and really the movie is just like a messy music video with all sorts of genres. Okay, so I'm gonna get into spoiler territory if you want to hear more of that. But yes, didn't like it so much. All right, we're gonna go into spoiler territory in 3, 2, 1. All right, we are now in full spoiler territory mode. If you care, you have been warned either way. All right, let's go back to that story that is extremely paper thin and I didn't like very much. Again, it's just an excuse to introduce more Trolls characters and get a bunch of licensed songs that are popular so that, people who are fans of these songs will go watch this movie and fill the seats and things like that. So the story is that apparently the trolls from the first movie are pop trolls. I believe this sort of thing was not at all in the original. This is all like made up bullshit just for this sequel. Yes, music is a huge part of their lives, but this is like a new thing that they do just for this sequel and don't really like explain too much of it anyway. But yeah, ancient troll history is that there are a bunch of troll tribes and they all like different sorts of music. So there's like classical trolls, techno trolls, country music trolls, and the main bad guys of this, I don't know if anyone is offended, the main bad guys are the hard rock trolls, and they hate all of the other sorts of music and think that all trolls should just like hard rock. And that is essentially the main story. So our main character, Princess Poppy, voiced by Kendrick, has to go all over the world and meet these other trolls, make friends with them, and unite the other trolls, in her own way and try to stop the big bad Barb, voiced by Rachel Bloom, by taking away their music preferences and just turning everyone into a hard rock zombie, as it was very plainly stated in the movie. Again, I don't know if anyone should be offended by this. It is just a Simple Kitty Trolls animated movie, so you probably shouldn't. Just don't, just don't mind it. And he is joined, of course, by the cast from the first Trolls movie, including Biggie, voiced by James Corden, and Branch, voiced by Justin Timberlake, who is clearly asleep during this whole movie. Justin freaking Timberlake is clearly phoning it in. He's just doing it for the paycheck in this movie. It was like painfully obvious from like word 1 to word, I don't know, 999 of his script. He's just not into it. I remember watching the first one, and again, the first one is very similar, although I feel that if you like the first one, in my opinion, this movie was even less entertaining than the first one. Because the first one, in my opinion, at least had some sort of like story that was interesting. It was still a simple story. It was about the trolls, and it was still focused on selling the troll products, right? Creating these brand new trolls for you to buy for your kids or whatever it is. But the story still was more interesting for me, with the trolls being enslaved and the creatures that were unhappy and things like that. That story grabbed me way more than this. This one is just, oh, let's go to like this place and meet more trolls. Okay, cool. Let's go to the other place and meet more trolls. That's about it. Okay. And back to Justin Timberlake. Yeah, when I watched the first one, I don't recall ever having that impression of him in my mind. I thought he was just okay in the first one. I never thought Justin Timberlake was like an amazing actor. He's good. When he tries, he like is a genuinely good actor, right? Let's get that out there. In the first one, he was okay. It was just his voice. It's fine. He had a very memorable song for the first one. I can't say the same for the second one. But in this second one, man, he is just not feeling it at all. Okay? There is also a plot twist that they introduce late into the movie, in that Poppy's dad, yes, from the first movie and so on, is the actual bad guy, like the hidden bad guy. Because like apparently all of the trolls were united before, but Poppy's dad was apparently a selfish asshole and decided to just take a particular music for his own, thus creating distrust and so on with the other trolls, and originating the separate troll tribes that were scattered all over the place. This was just mentioned, like a sentence or two. And when the dad actually shows up later on, he just says, "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I won't do it again." So they essentially hand wave this huge plot point, and it is immediately forgotten. And it just, when that happened, I wasn't surprised at all, because it just clearly paints the picture of what sort of movie this is. It really doesn't care at all for its story. It's just set pieces. Pop trolls, hard rock trolls, classical trolls, techno trolls, country music trolls, with like thinly connected story elements. Again, it's just an excuse to introduce new troll characters and new trolls music for you to buy. And that's it. And all of it is extremely forgettable. It does get points, though, for having Ozzy freaking Osbourne in the cast. Okay. So, story is nothing to write about. Justin Timberlake is asleep at the mic. The songs are like the same old things you've heard of in the radio for the past 10, 20, or whatever years. Jokes are unfunny at best, but the movie isn't a total train wreck for me. The animation is gorgeous, guys. It's not like, I didn't think it was Frozen 2 gorgeous, but it was pretty up there. It was really good. And one thing I did love was the design of the world. Now, I don't remember the world of this Trolls universe being like this in the first one. But the first one, it looked like, you know, Shrek's world or something like that. Just a generic world. But in this one, it's like they're trying to steal the Lego movie's thunder, right? Because the Lego movie, they're clearly they're spoilers for those who haven't seen a Lego movie. Sorry, we're in the spoiler territory anyway. But in the Lego movie, it is very clearly established that they are toys being played in the human world. And here it is the same, where everything is like a piece of someone's house. Like where they are right now is clearly someone's couch or like someone's bed or a table or something like that. There are no humans in this movie, but the movie gives a sense that they are just toys within the human world. Maybe they're alive like in Toy Story. Maybe they're alive because they're being played with at the moment. We don't see the humans either way. There's no Andy or whatever like that. Either way, like, I don't know. Again, the story really doesn't matter to the people that are that made this movie, apparently. So even though it's pretty much a retcon to the first movie, I thought the design at the very least was wonderful. I liked every time they would call back to like the trolls as toys being played in like the human world, like the ground. Like there's a sequence there when they're trying to break out of a jail and dig their way out, you know, Old West style. And when they're digging out, it's like cotton underneath, because it's like, I don't know, they're on top of someone's bed, right? So I thought that was clever whenever they would do that. And they would do that actually quite often. World design in this movie is phenomenal in my opinion, and the animation is super top notch. Everything else, not so much. And because of that, I really don't recommend this. Your kids, if you have kids, or, you know, little brother or whatever it is, will probably really love it if they're into this sort of thing. But, you know, if you're an adult or someone that is clearly not within the target market of this movie, I really would not recommend this for you. So I give this like a 3 out of 10. It's not extremely terrible. There are some things that I love about it still, but still the majority of it is pretty dang bad in my opinion. So yeah, 3 out of 10, not recommended at all if you are not the target audience for this thing. And as usual, if you made it all the way to the end of this review, thank you very much. This has been Asian Action Actor. If you like this video, please click like down below and subscribe to my channel to see more of my creative outputs. And I will see you next time.